Welcome everyone, a great song by Black Sabbath. I actually got inspired by a version that Phil X does with his studio buddies. I'll post a link to that video. It's just fantastic. Really, the only difference I noticed was how he played his octaves versus what live, and I'm sure in the studio, that Tony did. So I'll talk to what Phil did, but I'll show you how I feel that, because in all the live videos I can tell how he's playing the octaves. So it's in standard tuning, and my notes are right below the video, so click on that and you can download them and follow along. The song, like I said, standard tuning. Basically we're going to start out right over the 3rd fret. And we're going to hit the 6th string at that 3rd fret to the 5th string at 5, and then we'll move to 3 on the 4th and 3rd string. Alright, I read that there's no delay on this, it's double tracked. Either way, I just used an analog delay in playing the intro. Phil doesn't use it, and it sounds fine without it, but you know, again, if you're using it, all these really intro notes are pretty much muted. So we got this 3 to 5 and then 2 3s. Then we come back to 5 on the 4th string. And then hit it again before we go to 5 on the 5th. And then 4th string at 3 and 3rd string at 3. So a lot of notes there, but we'll do it slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we come back to that 4th string with 5 with 1 hit, then another hit. And then we're going to go to the 3rd fret of that 4th string and hammer in from the 3rd fret to 5. A little bit of vibrato, and that's really the first half measure. They'll do this all together 3 times. The very last half measure is slightly different. So let's go over this. We'll play it 3 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, this last time will sound like this. Alright, so the difference is he's not actually hitting a second 5 at the end. He's going back to 3 on the 3rd string and landing on 5 on the 4th string to finish. So we got the first 3 quarters the same. I'm sorry. Now we go to 3 and then 5. That's it for any of the double parts. At that point he moves up to it, basically the 4th position. All right? So we start this lick off on the 7th fret of the 4th string, then we go down to 5 on the 3rd string, and then 5 again pulled off to 4. Back to 7 on the 4th string, 4 on the 3rd, and then 7 to 5 on the 4th. Then we're going to quickly hit 2 hammer-ons from 5 to 7 on that 4th string before just hitting or letting it ring. Alright, so all of the first half of this lick, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. Now we take off, just move up to the 5th string, hammer on from 5 to 7, and then hit 5 on the 4th string below. Then we just lay down, catch the 3rd string, 5 pulled off to 4. Back to 7 on the 4th string and 4 on the 4th before we go to 7, 5 and the 2 hammer-ons. Alright, so this will be the 4th measure of the intro, and it's the first half of it. Okay, so we're going to start out in the 5th string. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then what I noticed Tommy does, he doesn't pull off, he does a slide. Alright, so we're going to be going from 5 to 4 on the 3rd string slid, and catching 7 on the 4th. Alright, so he does the slide 4 times, catching a 7 3 times. On the 4th one, he's going to hit 4 and then take 7 and slide to 9. Alright, that starts the next section. Next section's really, like I said, this is where Phil X does normal kind of octaves, which is fine. But I noticed Tony Iommi uses a bit different. So we'll go over the difference. But let's finish this off with the slide basically 4 times. Catching 7, 3 before, after the 4th, we just hit 4 and then 7 up to 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so at that point we're into the octave. So when I play these octaves, the way Phil X does it, he's playing the, let's just start out, okay? It's on a B note, so we're on the 4th string at the 9th fret. Phil uses the 2nd string, B note, and uses the octave lick that way. When I watch Tony play this slide, he's playing the 1st string B with the 4th string B. So we'll go over that lick, but that's the difference. It's really 1 string and how you play the octaves. Same notes. Alright, so what Tony's doing, he's grabbing the 1st string with his, let's just use I use my ring finger, and I'm plucking or hybrid picking the 4th string. So we're going to go, let's just talk to the 4th string. We'll always be 2 strings back on the E string or the 1st string. We're going to hit that 9 and 7. Then we move it up to 12 and 10. And then we're going to hit it, let's see, we've slid in. We'll hit it again, slide up to 16, and then slide back. The slide back really, this is with the hard part of tabbing. The slide back really just kind of slides off. And then he comes back to the 1st position, 9 and 7. So we have this so far. So we're going 9, and I'll just talk to 9. 2 frets back is the 1st string. To 12. And then we hit 12 again, slide up to 16 and back. Alright, then we catch, and again, it just slides really off. Then he catches 9, then back to 7, and then 7 again, slide up to 9. So all together. if you want to land somewhere, really try and land back at the home position. All right, so it'd be this. See how he comes from 16 and 14? It's really back to the 9 and 7. So the second part of this octave lick is going to be more of a slide in, strike, slide in, strike, slide back, strike, slide back, strike, and slide in. All right, so it'll sound like this. All right, so we're sliding up to the 12th position, then 14, then we hit 14, slid back to 9. Then 9, slid back to 7, then back to 9. All right, at that point, we're going to repeat the very first part of the lick again. All right, now we're going to do the slide up part, but we're going to go all the way up to, let's see, this is 17 and 19. All right, so we're sliding 9 all the way up to 12 to 14, 16. Then we go up to 19 and just slide off. All right, so again, I've written that down. Honestly, this is one of the harder things I've ever taught because it's hard to put into paper what he's actually doing. So really listen to it. And if you find the octaves too hard, just play the notes on the 4 string. So the power chords will be E to D and then B to A. We'll do that twice. Then what you'll hear is a quick B to C sharp because we're moving up. So that becomes a C sharp rather than D flat. Same thing. And then we're into a lead. All right, so those chords, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we start the solo. Okay, I'll play through the first measure of the solo, and then I'll show you what he's doing. We're going to take off from the B to C sharp. Alright, so what he's doing after hitting the C sharp, we're right there at the 9th position. He takes off from the 4th string, 9 hammered onto 11. Then he hits the 9th fret of the 3rd string before hitting 11 and bending that up to do a little Chuck Berry on the 2nd string and 1st string at 9. Then he comes to 12 on the 2nd string, hits that once, then again with a bend and release. Then he hits 12 to 9, then comes to the 1st string at 12 with a bend, and then hit it again, a bend and a release. Then we're going to hit 12 to 9 1st string, back to 9 on the 2nd string, to 12, 9 on the 1st, to 12 pulled off to 9 twice. All right, I know that's a lot of notes, but let's take it from the 2 12s bent. At that point, we start the Chuck Berry part again, coming to 12 on the 2nd string, and then landing on the 3rd string at 12 bent, 11 bent, and then 11 bent again. that leads us into the next part of the solo. So before we go over that, let's just go slowly through this solo so you can see how it all fits together. 1, 2, 3, 4. At that point, it'll take off again. Alright, so again, it's real similar licks. What we're going to do is bend 11 and come to the second and first string at 9. Back to 9 on the second, and then 12 pulled off to 9 on the third, before we come to 11 with a bend, release and pull off to 9, and then another 11 pulled off to 9, landing on 9 on the fourth. So this is what we have to that point. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now he takes off from there, 9 to 11 on the third string with our bend up Chuck Berry, second to first string, back to the second string, 12 pulled off to 9, and then landing on 11 slightly bent, and then 9. Alright, so we have this. So that whole second measure from the 11 bent to the 9s. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so that's the first real solo that you'll hear. Then we're back into the chords. E to D and then B to A. Slide off. Alright, at this point, there's no walk-up. Alright, we're going into what will become basically the verse. Alright, after the chords, we come in with this part. It's almost more of a double time feel to it. I'm going to play two measures because they start to mute it and then go into the verse. So it'll sound like this at first, and then the second measure will be muted. Alright, so what we're doing is hitting this G chord, just a power chord, twice. The second time we slide it up to 6 and 8. Alright, then we hit a mute before we come back to hitting the G, and then we hit, it's almost more of an upsweep from the second, third and fourth string at the third fret. It's a G suspended. Alright, so we have this to that point. It's almost harder to show slow. But then we're going to do that again. The second time we're going to just hit the fifth and fourth string, referencing just the F. So the two of those together will be played twice each. Then we go into the muted part, which is exactly the same, we're just muting. Alright, the muted will go through one measure and then they start the verse. The verse is muted for 4 measures. Then we go into it for 2 measures unmuted. Alright? After the 2 unmuted measures, we're into the chorus. The chorus is the same. It's unmuted, playing through this for another 4 measures. So Once you get this down, you'll be able to play through. All right. After the chorus, we're going to start the main solo. And the main solo is so notable with the way it starts. I'm going to go through, it's one measure long, but they go through it twice. So I love this lick. So what we're doing there is we're hitting the 4th string on the 3rd fret, hammering into 5 twice. Then we come to the 5th string, we're going to hit 3 hammered onto 5, then hit 3 on the 4th string, back to 5 on the 5th string. Then we come to the 3rd fret of the 6th string with a bend and release and some vibrato. Repeats. Alright, then we're going to go into some unison bends. Unison bends will sound like this. Before he takes off with the solo. So what we're doing on the 2nd string at 3 will be on the 3rd string at 5, and the 3rd string is what we bend up. Then we'll move to 6 and 8 before going on to 8 and 10. When he goes to 10, it's almost like he lets it down and comes back up. We'll do that twice. The 3rd time, what we're going to do is just unison bend 8 and 10, and then move up to 10 on the 2nd string and 12 on the 3rd string. That's got a bend, and then again a bend and release. So we'll have this. And then he takes off with the solo. Okay, so the next measure of the solo will sound like this. So what we're doing there is we're going to hit 17 on the 3rd string, bend up, catching the 2nd and 1st string at 15. Then we hit 18 on the 2nd string with 3 bends. The 4th bend will be a release and pull off to 15. Then we come to 18 on the 1st string with a bend, and then 18 with a bend, release, and pull off to 15. Before we come back to 18, pulled off to 15. Landing on 18 on the 2nd string, coming back 18 to 15 on the 1st, to 18 twice on the 2nd string, 15 on that 2nd, and then 17 once, and then 17 bend up, start again. Pulled off from 18 to 15, and then 17, 15. Alright, that last lick we'll repeat again on the next measure, and that kind of ends our 15th position. Alright, so let's go all through that. I know it's a lot of notes, and again, downloading what I've written out will really help. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then he moves up to the 3rd position. So this next part of the solo really is really well done, because it transitions into kind of the lick that I really like, and then the intro, a part of the intro. So it'll sound like this. just stop there. So what we're doing there is hitting the third and second string at 3, then we come back to the third string, 5 to 3, back to 5, before hitting the third and second string at 3 again. Then we take 5 on that third string, slid up to 7, catching 6 on the second string, hitting 7 again, slid back to 5, and then 5 again before 3. Repeat. One more time. This last time, what we're going to do is when we slide back to 5, we're going to pull off twice to 3, landing on 5 on the 4th. Then we start the lick we know. Then they come in, I'm just writing this as a twill. We're just going to hammer on to this third string muted. You can add the power chord. Then we come in with this. Then we're back into the octave part. So after the octave part we know, it's the same. We go into the chord part we know, E to D. And then we're back into the... So it starts out again, just like we did. It's not muted for a measure, then it's muted, and we're into actually chorus 2. It's a little different because he's singing Fairies Wear Boots and going to the chorus before we start muting again and go into verse 2. Right at the end of verse 2, we're going to end the song. So I want to show you how it ends. Alright, then they go in, so we know that lick. They go into this lick which repeats. So we're in the 5th position, we're hammering into 6 on the first string, catching 8 on the second. Then we come back to 5 on the first string, and then we'll catch 6 on the second string, hammered into 8. And that just repeats over and over. Fade out. So that's a whole song. I hope my notes help you. There's, it's a long song, but really a lot of great licks in it. So I hope you enjoy.